Hello everybody, and welcome to the 16th episode of my Create Astral Let's Play series. Last episode we finished off getting ourselves fuel. I guess you could say refined fuel, as well as some other stuff down here. We got this distillation tower set up, getting us the fuel cells and sulfuric acid. We don't really have a use for sulfuric acid, but that is fine. What I mentioned at the end of last episode was that our plan for this episode is to work on getting, at the beginning, we want to get these overclocker upgrades, and we'll have to do that by doing the 60 NAK cell first. And then after that, I want to start working on getting the steel plates unlocked. Which, as I said, we had to have the hotter stuff unlocked first, because to get steel, you can see you have to have a superheated blaze burner. However, before that, as you guys can probably tell in here, I have not a lot of silver. Even with my guy running, I'm just not getting enough silver, and that's because I'm getting backstuffed on Bonemeal. You can see over here, the Bonemeal is what's backstuffing me. So I thought I would go ahead and build a better Bonemeal farm. So what did I do? I actually just went online and I googled really fast Bonemeal farm. And I found Tango's Bonemeal farm, and it was honestly pretty good. So I loaded it into a schematic and thought I would use it for that. Once we get it loaded up, I can show you guys what it looks like. And I did clear a little bit of an area out for it already because I do have a place where I'm thinking about putting it. Let's just wait for night to pass so I can sleep quickly. Alright guys, the night's over, so let's just check this out, how this is going to work. I did clear an area over here. And before we run, let's just grab something quickly. I might as well go full stack. So, this is how we can place it down. I'll place that in one moment. I want to get up here first. I'm hoping I have enough space up here for it. If I don't, I can clear that area out a little bit more, I guess. So, let's see. It looks like I can make this work. So, I think if I go right here, it will paste it in. And I do got a whole bunch of extra space, so I probably can move it at least a little bit. So, if I go over here, and I think I need to do left Alt. So, X and Z. So if I want to control push, how do I make it move this way? Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't know how to make it that's not working. How am I supposed to make it move this way? Point. Oh. Maybe I need to go this way. So I'll do this, and maybe now it will work. There we go. How close I want to get it over here. I can probably get it maybe one more over. There we go. And I don't know if I need to be this high for it to be off the ground. And then we can bring this down probably to... Actually, let's make sure I'm having this facing the correct side first. So I think the exit is on the other side, actually. I think the exit's on this side right over here. We're just checking where the exit's going to be. It looks like the exit's somewhere over here, actually. So what I'm going to do is probably lower this maybe 1. So we'll go over to Y. Oops, not what I wanted to do. And then I think we go here, we go to Y, then we scroll down. That should get it right to the ground, right there. And that's good enough for me. For now, I can build over here to make this go in better progression. So now I think, is there a mirror? I think this is the correct way for us to put it. So I think all I have to do now is kind of just call it there, and this should be good. All I should have to do now is pop the schematic cannon in and put that into there. Now I need a checklist, so how do I make a checklist? Place books here to make a checklist. I'm very curious to see how much stuff this is going to need, because I actually just haven't checked. I made this and popped it into the world here. So we'll put books right there. Okay, I definitely don't need more than 1 book. So let's see what materials we're going to need. So we're going to need activator rails, barrels, birch signs, composters, dispensers, droppers. So that's a lot more moss blocks than I have, which is okay. Let's see what else we're going to need. Moss carpet. So those aren't really needed. I can probably skip that. And then trap doors, white concrete. So guys, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to get all these materials. I can probably honestly just make myself the moss blocks and everything else that's required here. So give me guys one moment. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna create all this, and I'll pop you guys back in once I get all the materials so we can watch it get built. I got all the materials collected up in here. Fortunately, I did have some moss blocks because if we open the map, I did a lot of exploring earlier, and in this area right here, I was actually able to find a moss block in there. So that helped very much to get that. And of course, I had a whole bunch of bone meal, or I guess a whole bunch of bones downstairs for my farm, so I was able to get the sand pretty easily. So everything here was honestly just quite easy to get, just a whole bunch of resources that I already have, just to go over some of the random recipes, just in case you guys don't know them. I got packed ice from creating ice from ice shards, so it was honestly very easy to get all the materials I need for this. All I should have to do now is click start. Now, what I want to do to show you guys this a little bit better is I think I'm actually going to turn cheats on, and we can pop into game mode spectator. However, I probably want to start this first before we do that. So let's get this going. Is it working? Is it gonna start? There we go. So now let's go to game mode spectator and kind of just watch it go. And here you guys can see we have the farm complete. I did add a ladder here, and I did also add a simple inside basic storage that we can just get in from the top, because this is the exit for the bone meal. Now, this ladder I added so we could activate it. There is one more thing that I wanted to add. First thing, this hopper wasn't here, because I don't know why, I guess it shouldn't pick up, but you have to put one bone meal in the hopper for this to actually start. Additionally, wherever there is one of those guys right there, a hopper, there's a dispenser under it. You have to fill the dispenser up with bone meal as well. So fortunately I had a bone farm from all the sand saving, so I was able to fill all those guys up with bone meal. Now all I should have to do is flip this lever, and everything should activate. And we have the water all activating, so this should 100% be automated now. Hopefully everything's activating, and we should just relatively soon start seeing bone meal falling in down here. Hopefully we'll see our bone meal coming in pretty soon. Looks like we see the bone meal popping out right there. So all we should have to do is wait a few hot seconds, and bone meal should start coming out here any moment. It's probably recharging all the bone meal I just spent, or it's spending right now, because it should have a net positive on bone meal because of how wide the area is up here. So we should have to wait just a little bit for the bone meal to come around. Hopefully it comes around soon, and maybe I built the thing wrong and it's not coming out correctly. I put the water wrong. I don't see it coming. So what we can do is just come over here pretty quickly and see how this is going over here. So let's just check these guys out right here. So they are maxed out on bone meal. So my wonder is if I built something wrong somewhere. Because I don't see any of the bone meal coming around. Unless I'm just missing it. So now we will just, I guess, check over here, see if the bone meal is actually coming down yet. The bone meal is not coming down. I feel like it's just disappearing. You can see, oops, a whole lot of bone meal is coming out. Oh, I think I turned it off. I forgot I had it on peaceful mode because I wanted to make the time lapse without any mobs coming in there. Let's see. Where is this going? You can see all the bone meal popping out right here. Oh, you wonder what it's doing? It's filling up the buffer of all the hoppers. That's what's happening. Okay, I understand what's happening now. Okay, we're good now. So now that we know what's happening, we know that it's still net positive. So I'm gonna go sleep, and I'm gonna wait here for a little bit longer so we can get this bone meal farm, so we can see the bone meal actually start coming down. So I'm gonna just run over there and sleep, then we can come back and watch it. That's scary when everything's invisible right there. I thought I'd go ahead and get some more bone meal from my bone farm, or I guess my sand sifting over here, so I can just fill this guy up so I can see this guy actually running at full speed. Get my food back in my hat bar. With this guy full, we should now have all the bone meal being completed and only pretty much going downstairs. So if we come back over here, we should see ourselves getting bone meal falling soon. As you guys can see, bone meal is coming about 1 or 2 per second. I don't know if I've said this yet, but this farm does about 6,300 bone meal an hour. Now, what's nice about this farm here is this module, so I could technically increase it. In fact, you probably saw on the schematic I had single because I accidentally copied the double one first. This can go literally as long as you want it to go, so it's actually a pretty simple farm. Once again, I will link this farm in the description so you guys can have access to it, so you can have fun playing with this and putting it in your world. And I guess, honestly, who would have thought using vanilla mechanics would have been the best way to get bone meal? But here we are with a massive bone meal farm. I might as well pop the rest of this bone meal I have in there as well. So what I need to do now is I need to connect this bone meal line all the way to downstairs. And once we have that, we should really be able to get a whole bunch of limestone, which will get us a whole bunch of silver in return. This whole thing was pretty much just to get a whole bunch of silver, so now that we have it, it's fantastic. And again, we can always turn the bone meal farm off if we ever just get too much bone meal. As you guys can see here, the bone meal farm is all the way hooked up now. It was honestly quite easy. In the time it took me to build this farm, guys, the bone meal was already at 3,400. Now, I already have it dropping because I was being dumbass and didn't show it to you guys first, but it was at 3,500, I promise you guys. I'm sure we can figure at least a little bit of it out if we come over to our area where all this stuff is happening, just over here. I'm sure you guys can see this bone meal guy being just right on full, and if we break this guy, I'm sure it will show us, yeah, we already have used several hundred bone meal by just plowing through this, so we are going to get a whole bunch of calcite backed up, which is going to be fantastic for us. So now we'll have limestone coming in so much faster. It looks, actually, I don't know if we have any current back stuff right now, so we actually should be going pretty good on resources now. That should be going full capacity 100% of the time now. And if you guys are curious where, or I guess how much silver we have now, if we just pop over to here and type in silver, hopefully we'll see more silver popping in pretty soon. But that may not be happening because I'm pretty sure all my silver is probably going over to here to get smelted down. You can see it was just active, so I'm guessing that is what's happening right now. What I may do is there's too many stuff on here, so I might just turn this off quickly so I can go ahead. When it gets too full, this is essentially what happens when I run out of silver in here, which is why I keep trying to having silver come as soon as possible. You can see I'm doing pretty good on my integrated circuits, but now that we have all of this done, we have pretty much everything maxed out. I guess this will be maxed out eventually once I get more gold nuggets coming in. So now that we have this little guy set up, I know that was a bit of a sidetrack, to say the least, of what I wanted to work on. But what I want to do now is start getting these NAK coolant cells being built. Now, they're honestly quite easy to build. I'm going to do it in the chemical reactor because I just I don't have to do any sort of crafting like this, and I don't have to get buckets of those. So I'll be pulling sodium and potassium. Now, if you guys remember, if we open up our guy right here, sodium, I guess I don't have the sodium hooked up, but potassium isn't hooked up either because we have to make the potassium. I forgot about that, guys. So we have to turn the banana dust into, so if we click uses on this and go to industrial centrifuge, we have to use that to then get ourselves the potassium, nitrogen, and compressed air. Those two aren't really useful, but what we really care about is the potassium. So I'm going to go ahead and make a setup to export all of our saltpeter into making potassium for us. So here is my setup for this, how I'm going to use turn the saltpeter into the potassium, and I think it had two other outputs it had. However, what I want to say quickly was my game, well, my game didn't crash. My internet had, or not my internet, my entire house's power for like the entire city pretty much went out where I live. And because of that, well, for some reason it kind of confused my game, and as you can see in my chat, my achievements got reset for some reason. I don't know why that happened, but I don't really know how to explain that. But it looks like some of my stuff here I did also changed as well, so we'll just go ahead and break this because, yeah, I don't really know why that happened like that, but it's whatever. I guess I'll take it. So what I need to do is create a few more things. I need to actually go ahead and create myself a ME. No, I need to create myself a, what's it called? A interface. Because using an interface, I can create one of these. Now the reason I want to create an interface is actually pretty simple. And that is because I don't have enough channels over here available, so I need to use an interface for this. Because this has a few outputs. There is 3 outputs, so I only have enough storage place for here for 2, which their third output is compressed air, which I don't have access to, unfortunately, but what I can just do quickly is on the top, I can do an input for the saltpeter. So I can pop that down, and that should be outputting the saltpeter into there. Then on the storage interface right here, if I go to cell, I can put empty cells right here, and then what I can do is on the front side, I can pull the input. Now that will pull those cells in there. Now, I only have 2 output slots for this, but I have, as I said, 3 outputs, because if we go back to the uses for saltpeter, you can see we have potassium, we have nitrogen, and we have compressed air. And, well, we only have 2 outputs available to us right now. So what I can do is, on one side, I can, grab the input, and then on this side I can do that as well. However, what I'm going to do is this one is always going to be the same input, this is always going to be the potassium, and this one here will always be the nitrogen. I think I messed this slot up right here, yes. But this slot here will always be the compressed air, which I'm actually going to have outputting into the ME interface. Because of how ME interfaces work, it will get put right here. Therefore, it will get sucked back into the system. So somewhere else I can put a storage drawer that has the ability to store it, which will make everything a lot easier. Hopefully this goes a little bit faster so I can show you guys what I mean. You guys will see in a few seconds once this is done that the tube will go into there and then the crude will go into here. Hopefully we can get this go a little bit faster. A few more seconds here. Actually, while that's happening, I might as well just clean this area right here. Actually, no, I think I need to do one thing first. I need to actually kind of change how those work down there. Oh, there you can see the potassium went in there, the nitrogen went in there, and then the compressed energy should be in the ME wireless system. So now that this is ready, I want to come down here and I want to make this a priority of 10 because 10 is where it is, and we do input and then output, and we can lock those guys up. Input and output, and then lock it up. And once we get to our interface over here, or I guess a place we can get access, if we type in cell, we can see we have our potassium there, and what I need to do now is I need to actually add our sodium to a output as well. I think our sodium is somewhere over here. It's somewhere, I think it's one of these guys right here. There it is. So I need to put a storage bus on the sodium, which should be fine. I think I still have one more. Yeah, I still have one more, so I should be able to do that pretty easily. So if we get a storage bus, I should have an extra storage bus available. Perfect. Yeah, that's kind of annoying that all my things got reset. So sodium is right here, so I'll just pop it right here, and I need to grab myself some more cables. You can just easily pull some out and pop them right there. And now we have access to our sodium. Now we should just come in here and go down and go down right there, and now we should have access to sodium in our thing. Yes, we do. Perfect. Sorry if I'm sounding a little bit annoyed, guys. Or I guess monotone. I'm just trying to. My internet went out yesterday, or my entire house power went out yesterday, so now I finally got it back. So I'm just relieved at this point. But now that we have this, what we can work on getting is turning it into the 60K cells in the chemical oxidizer, or the chemical reactor. Oops, I just deleted what I had there for some reason. So it's made pretty easily. 4 invar plates. two extractors, and one compressor. The compressor itself is also pretty easy as well. I did go ahead and make a alloy smelter a while ago because I wanted to make electrum, because I did want to get the advanced storage unit, but I realized I don't have access to it just yet, so I didn't have that crafted up. But I can go ahead and if we look up Desh, if I take some of these Desh plates out and I take some, I think it was iron that it wanted. So if we go to the chemical reactor, Invar was made by Desh plate and iron. So iron is right here, and I'll just go ahead and turn the iron and Desh into that, and we can go ahead and get ourselves the chemical reaction chamber. And just like that, we have access to the 60k and the 60k NAK coolant cells. Perfect. Now we can use that to make ourselves stuff. To make ourselves overclockers. All I should have to do is just get one in my inventory. I'm actually complete the quest. Perfect. So I get Potion of Leapin, Swiftness, and Fallen. We don't really need those right now, so I'll just pop them in the bank. So, now that we have that done, we can start working on getting more stuff. Now, I was thinking, but I don't know if I really need an overclocker right now. I may go ahead and make one overclocker. Looks like I need some more of these cables. Because, guess that makes two. The only reason I say that is because I think it would be kind of nice if I had an overclocker in my guy over here to have him go a bit faster. So if I popped an overclocker in here, you guys can see I don't know if the input rate will change on here, but if I put one in there, you can see, yes, it did. It changed to actually, that's way too much. I'm not making that much power, so I'll actually take that out. So never mind. I can't put it in just yet because it's more power than I can actually deal with right now. And I don't think will be worth it in the moment. But you can see these guys are very useful. I'll probably put them, once I get more power generation, I'll probably put them in most of my machines because, oops, I certainly can't, certainly can't handle two of the guys in there. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and start working on steel production, which, if you guys remember, I need to get a little bit of a setup for that. It's pretty easy to set up, honestly, it's not that hard. So as you guys know, I already made steel dust several times. So if we can find steel dust again, right here. Steel dust is made very simply by mixing iron and coal dust. And use that coal dust in the same thing right here with a mixer, but to get us steel dust, but that has to be superheated, which we have fuel cells to heat that up now. I should have find a nice place to actually, make that. I'm not sure where to make it. I might make it somewhere over there, where I just built the chemical reactor. So I may put it over there too, but we'll have to see where I end up putting it. So I'm gonna just bring you guys back when I figure that out, because I actually haven't thought about where I put it, but I might just put it over here because I do still have, a good amount of channels left on this area over here. It's not automatic steel ingot production, but I did automate steel dust production so far. As you guys can see here, I pretty much just added a export bus here into a grinder. I did end up using my two overclockers in here to grind it down and to make us more coal dust. Now I'm hoping, I wonder if there's actually a better grinder I can use. I think there's an industrial one, right? That has a whole lot of stuff involved in making it, which I could probably use. But I would need to, well, I got the 60k cells now, so I could make these engines, but I have to get machine parts, which is super, so I guess I could potentially make this. I'd have to make carbon mesh, though, it looks like, which requires a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. So that's a little bit future progress, but what I have set up here is pretty much the coal dust coming out and into the basin right here, which is then spun this and put into here. So it's just an easy way for us to get passive steel dust. For now, I'm probably going to not automate this because, or I guess automate steel ingots, because I think I'm just going to make myself, a stack or two of steel at a time. But what I'll do now is I'll at least set up an area where I can. Actually, I could just do it right over here, honestly. It's kind of annoying that I have this arm right here. Kind of wish I could put it there, but this arm is also feeding this blaze burner right here. So I need to go ahead and make another area that I can use. I could just put it right, no, that's where my cable is. Well, I'll find an area for me to put the actual steel production. We do have a whole bunch of the fuel cells now right here, so I do have a whole lot of time. And even if I were to use the fuel cells continuously, I should be making more fuel cells. I think the fuel cells last 999 seconds, if I remember correctly, so I should every time I use one fuel cell, I'll be able to make 2 or 3, or even 5 more, honestly. So I shouldn't run out of the fuel cell usages if I use them at only like a once a time right now. So I don't really think I have confidence in using myself for like a blaze burner to use that, but I do at least have the confidence in using it for maybe 1 or 2 automated recipes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that stuff set up. Honestly, the setup was pretty easy to get this going. Of course, since it's not automatic, it doesn't have too much stuff going on with it, which is why it was pretty easy. But you can see I did throw 9 steel dust into here, so we can. But as you guys might be able to tell, we actually can't put the fuel cell in yet because we have to put a straw onto it first. Now you can see it can accept fuel. The straw is made pretty simply. You just put bamboo through a rolling machine. Now I should be able to crash my game. Let me look for that, guys, because that's not good. I am back after the game crashing 3 times. I tried it once again to make sure if it would work or not, and I second tried by just putting a pipe down, but right-clicking on this block will crash your game. Hands down. Right-clicking the liquid blaze burner will crash your game, so do not do that. I'm hoping I can pump in, because if I can't pump into this, I'm going to have to end the series. Because if I can't have super-powered blaze burners, I can't continue on with the mod pack. So, we're going to hope this works by getting a cog out, and getting ourselves a crank, which I surprisingly don't have. So if this works, we're fine. If this doesn't... Okay, I need to turn it. That scared me for a second that it wasn't working. Okay, good. It looks like we're fine, but that's not turning into superheated. I am kind of confused. Using fuel buckets on blaze burners is the same fashion for a short while. This will include... I guess we can try using the fuel bucket, but my game might crash again. I do have the stuff in there, so it should be turning. But and the game crashed again. Okay, guys. I can use the normal blaze burner. However, as you can see, fuel cells don't work. You actually have to use a fuel bucket, and that will activate it. But it looks like it only lasts 50 seconds. That's a very short amount of time, unfortunately. Hopefully, well, at least we can get it all done in the 40-second period of time, but that's kind of crazy. Honestly, just get as much as I can going in there. Register as much as I can with that little time it has left. Hopefully this hards, but that got me very nervous, guys. I was genuinely thinking I was about to have to end the series there, which would have been depressing, because I didn't really want to finish, because, you know, I want to finish the series. I want to actually finish the game. But we do have access to steel. It's unfortunate that this lasts so short on time, 50 seconds, but I can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. But at least we got ourselves a whole bunch of steel blocks now. Looks like I got a little bit extra right there. So when I do end up eventually automating this, looks like that's interesting. It still stays cooking afterwards. That's kind of cool, actually. But that's fine. Now that we have ourselves the steel, we can go ahead and turn it into steel ingots, which I'm thinking is part of that right there. Yes. And go ahead and accept those guys right there. I was honestly very nervous, guys. I was about to end the series. I really didn't want to end the series. Now that we have steel, what we can do is start working on other awesome things. Let's see. What I want to work on next is probably along the lines of going down here, because I do really want to start getting Mars unlocked. But I think before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and craft myself the new armor. Because why not? I might as well get myself new armor because I can. And I'm going to need it anyways to go to Mars. It has higher resistances than the armor I have on right now, so I might as well do it. So I'll just run over here and pop all of my ingots, or at least most of them. Maybe I'll get put 14 of them in there. Hopefully it'll be enough to get the full armor. So I'll just pop over here, put those guys in there, and is that not how you get steel plates? Do I have... How am I supposed to get steel plates? Steel plate. So it looks like I have to cast it because I can't make the compressor from that. So it looks like I have to cast steel plates, which is kind of annoying because I'm gonna have to remelt this down. Can I even remelt this down in a smelter? Hopefully I can, but as I said, I'm gonna go ahead and make that armor, guys. And I'm also probably going to start working on getting a setup over here, which looks like I'm going to have to get myself machine parts automated. I don't think I'm gonna automate it, honestly. I might just get it semi-automated because I still don't feel comfortable automating the superheated part because I don't have enough fuel for that. But at least we guys know superheated does work in this mod pack, and that's all I'm thankful for right now, to be 100% honest with you. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably get some of this stuff ready, but honestly, once I get this stuff going over here, it should be pretty easy to get. I got a whole bunch of coal dust. With that, we should be able to create some of that coal compound. So if we come over to here, I mean coal compound, I mean carbon fiber. So we'll just kind of dump all this stuff in there and pull it a stack because I think that's a pretty good amount. And then we can use this to mix into carbon. So if we get some fuel out, we're also going to have to grab a bucket out too. And I might as well get a crude storage unit as well so that I can have it automatically pull out what I want it to. So we'll just pop downstairs now. Actually, I'm going to need that bucket, so I'll put the steel plates away. I did make some extra steel plates too. As you can see, I also did make the armor. So what I'm going to do is pretty simple. I'm just going to pop this guy right here. And let's see, I got some extra stuff in there. This is... I'll just break it. Take the extra steel dust and I'll just pop it in there for now. Then what I can do is pick up my fuel. And I can throw my carbon fiber in there and then just get this guy on going on up. And in a second, I got some going already, so what I can do now is pop this guy in here. And we can have it get pulled in from the side. Now, doing this, it should do as much as it possibly can within the next 35 seconds. But now that we have carbon mesh, we should have completed another quest to get the hepatizon comma. Don't really know why we need a hepatizon comma, but that's fine, I'll take it. What we have next is I want to accept that quest with you guys too. Now, all we have left is to get inner machinations done. However, no, how hard is this to make actually? It's actually pretty dang simple. So I need that carbon fiber mesh. How many more do I have left in here? Looks like I have a good amount still left in there, so I'm going to get myself just a few of these guys. So what we'll do is we'll just grab full 16 cells. So I'm guessing I can just do that again. Nice. So we'll go back to here. What I'll go ahead is... This is actually much simpler than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to go ahead and... I think I have some wire in here. I got a whole bunch of wire in here, so that should be fine. And I have that, and I have steel plates. So I might just pull this stuff out once this guy finishes his 20. Actually, I might as well just pull it out now. So what we can do is we can drop this guy in here. I think it was 8. Then we'll drop 8 in there, and then 1 steel. Did I forget to put in this guy? May I forget to put this guy in? If I can get it in. There we go. And this... Oh shoot, I didn't go long enough. So I'll just quickly fix that right now. And now it should work. Did it just... Oh. I see. Because it's auto-inputting and pulling the carbon meshes out. That makes sense now. Now it should be fine. And this should get us 4 of those machine parts. And if we go back to the correct quest, we can get anchor and hook. And finally we can get ourselves a digital display. So we'll add that over to there. And let's see, I'm probably going to make more of those, so I'll keep those copper wires in my inventory. And then digital display. I'm missing an advanced monitor. And finally, we get ourselves a digital display. And don't have to throw it on the ground, fortunately. So now all I should have to do is get horsepower and Ostrom engines going up. Wonder why I need this to get this. Interesting. Well, I guess I need the engines over there anyways, which is probably why it's hooked behind that. So next episode, we are going to get ourselves engines, guys. And we're also going to get ourselves Ostrom engines, which honestly I could probably craft right now. But that's fine. So next episode, we might actually be going to Mercury. It depends on how fast I can complete these two guys right here. Sorry about the little scare there, guys, with this not being completed. I just was honestly very nervous I wasn't going to be able to get it done. But fortunately, we were able to get it done, so we didn't have to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and probably just craft a whole bunch more stuff, because I might as well. And kind of just get some stuff ready for next episode, and then we can start working on getting to Mars. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. I'll see you guys next episode, where we're probably going to go to Mars, as I just mentioned 5 times in a row. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.